The Mystery of BELICENA VILLCA. Fifth Book. Epilogue, or Prologue. Chapter 6. The car of the Commissar Maidane climbed the slope of the exit path, and 200 meters ahead, he went into the provincial route. Two fat women that awaited patiently, approached and embraced, both at the same time, were the mothers of Milk, of Catalina and me. There it was very important that to be a mother of Milk, son of Milk, or brother of Milk, all started when to a good mother was sad for her baby, or not produced it, in the enough quantity. Then was resorted to another mother, a stronger mother, that would have carved her son, on a near date, and was required her help, to breastfeed both babies. The mother of Milk, even if she was the strongest, with frequency, was also the poorest, because she was usually a Creole or Indian, perhaps, already mother of many sons, who rendered willingly her collaboration. And, of course, was paid for such services. But the retribution was another thing, generally gifts for their own children, clothes and food, and other very different, was the love of the mother. That could not be paid with anything, and for that reason, superior ties than the simple commercial transaction was generated, the kinship of the Milk. In fact, the mother of Milk usually became in midwife of the real mother, and enjoyed of some friendship, or preference in respect to the other women of the Calchaquí Valley. Mores, centennial customs, which came from the age of the Spaniards, or perhaps, of the Indians. From those two women that embraced me, one was mother of Milk, and the other had been of Catalina. I have nothing, said me the first, neither look like Ms. Beatriz, but, all what mine is yours, Arterio, or my love. I tightened with full such Creole, that had seen me born, and I kissed her on the cheeks. Thanks, Ms. Isabel, thanks you very much, I said, moved, while the maudlins of La Merced were making a choir with their painful lamentations. I left the midwives, crossing themselves beside the coffins, and I went away to a far corner, accompanied by Uncle Kurt. Since the Commissar Maidane left, a growing overdrive went seizing from me. I had an idea emerged from the rational conclusion of the policeman, that I wanted to communicate to Uncle Kurt, without delay. Naturally, if I didn't want to accept the proposals of Maidane, Uncle Kurt would have not even heard them. So, I repeated him. Uncle Kurt. Uncle Kurt. I startled him. Reflect about the words of the cop. They are as a syllogism. He affirmed, the killers are human. Why? Because they use knives and batons, it means, material weapons, he deducted. In that moment, I denied the possibility completely, but now, I consider that the deduction of Commissar Maidane is great. Are you mad, Nif, out of your mind? Uncle Kurt disqualified me to opine. They are immortals. Bray and Bishar are immortals. If they employed a knife doesn't mean anything. It was necessary for the ritual of the sacrifice. For all the gods, Uncle Kurt, don't treat me like an idiot. I defended myself. I know that they're immortals. But, as BELICENA VILLCA said in the story of Nimrod, only while they are not killed, while not be exerted any kind of physical violence against them. These immortals can die too. Are you mad? He repeated, more closed yet. Didn't you verify the power of the demon Beret, the last night? We can't do anything against them. You have done very well discouraging the policeman. Oh, mein God. I sweared, no, Uncle Kurt. I am not mad. You are the one that sins of obstinate. But you are going to hear me. And you will let me to expose my idea. Die Prüften. Yea, he promised without conviction. Then behold. My concept is that there are two irreducible planes, that now, by an erroneous and subjective appreciation of the reality, have been interfered or mixed. Such planes are, the plane of the reality of the spirit, and the plane of the human reality. Between both planes, cannot be relations or connections, but senseless. Every nexus, or reason, is illusory, not real. but exists, also, a law, which is, the reason of the unreason, that protects and affirms the absolute reality of the planes. And this law, that sustains the reason of the unreason, between such planes, is the innate reference to not lose the reason and lose the mind. This law of the sanity demands, to not transgress the planes, not move to the plane of the reality of the spirit, own entities of the plane of the human reality, and reciprocally, to not project to the plane of the human reality, the ideas, own of the reality of the spirit. In this devilish issue of Beret and Bishar, my dear Uncle Kurt, it seems to me, that you have confused the planes, that we don't know anymore which is the plane threatened by the immortals. But, I will tell it, to you Uncle Kurt. I will tell it to you, so clear, that you will not be able to repeat that, I am mad, but you will have to accept that I am too sane. This is, let's see first, the plane of the reality of the spirit. There the truth is the origin, the symbol of the origin. For that truth, for not being able to resist the weight of that truth, for denying, or not bear the presence of that truth, the immortals are forced to manifest a thermodynamic archetypal, as the one that you saw in La Brea. The form of the monad, the unity of light, allows them to exist powerfully out from the plane of the human reality, and avoid to face the truth of the origin, with the symbol of the origin. And that powerful form is, with security, the most dangerous that someone can imagine. I'm agreed that such danger is also real. However, let's go now, to the plane of the human reality. There, the truth is the self, that is to say, the psychic and volitional manifestation of the changed spirit to the matter. And the lie, the illusion of man, but, also his animic motor, is the pain. The Creator God, feeds from a force called human pain. And the man, produces pain and suffering, to feed the Creator of the great deceit. The common man, produces little pain, because to suffer the illusion of the pain, it is necessary the wounded nobility of the spirit. Thence that great men, great incarnated spirits, are capable to generate great sufferings, great pains, great afflictions, great anguishes. The hunger of God, of Jehovah God, demands the contribution of the pain of great men. And those men, capable of the greater suffering, have to be also capable to offer the major sacrifice. Their pain must be sacred for God, for Jehovah God. For it, are required the representatives of Jehovah God, the priests of Jehovah God, those with power to consecrate the great pain, for example, Beret and Bishar. Because, it will be, always, necessary that in the plane of the human reality, exist priests of God, to consecrate the great pain of the great man, to the unity of God, of Jehovah God. Only thus, it will be possible to sacrifice the great man, make that his great consecrated pain, feeds the unity of the one, the Creator God Jehovah God. In synthesis, Uncle Kurt, one thing are the immortals, face to the plane of the reality of the spirit, where they have no other choice than to manifest themselves monadically, as unity of light, to avoid the truth of the origin. Just as happened to Beret, with you, he had no other choice than to dress himself with the clothes of the one, it means, with his monad of light. You will object me, saying that such a manifestation also occurred in the plane of the human reality, but, I will repeat you that, you're an atypical case, and you know it. You're as a wounded man, to whom, an unusual wound, leaves exposed one of his most intimate bones. Those, who contemplate it, remain profoundly impressed to receive in close reality, which usually flee to every consideration. In a similar manner, those, who have contemplated the sign of the origin, that you exhibit involuntarily, have remained profoundly impressed, because they have sensed in the discovery the revelation of other reality, close and strange. In sum, Uncle Kurt, your experience has no general value, is own of someone, capable to exhibit in the plane of the reality of man, signs of ideas originated in the world of the spirit, own of a Shivachulk, perhaps. But, in the field of the common human beings, as the not initiated members of the House of Tharsis, as Marmand, Ketelin and me, the things occur according to the aforementioned law. The pain must be consecrated and sacrificed to Jehovah God. and for that, unnecessary priest of flesh and bones. Thence that in all her letter, BELICENA VILLCA always describes the immortals as diabolic priests. Have you understood me, Kurt? For the sacrifice of the pain, the ritual of death must be officiated, and, to officiate the ritual of the death, unnecessary sacrifices priests. Where are you aiming to? Oh, better said, where do you think that your argument will guide me to? Asked Uncle Kurt, suspecting that my intention was to make him fall in a dialectic trap. Very simple. My conclusion is, and I think that I have demonstrated it, that to effectuate ritual murders, as the ones that they executed yesterday, the immortals must present themselves in priestly human form. In one word, I think that, the Commissar Maidane is right. The killers of my parents were human beings, priests of the crime, that must use the knife and physical force to reduce their victims. Although it seems mad, I must admit that it doesn't lack of sense. Well, Nif, let's suppose that it is thus, and what would we gain with it? Where would be the difference of the situation? Ah! I breathed triumphant. Your question obeys to the fact that you not consider neither remotely the possibility to attack. Is that? Attack? I think that you have gone mad, he prejudged. Yes. Attack the demons. What happens to you, uncle? The 35 years of forced vacations have softened you. But how, Echiro, how we would do that? Where we would find them? I had left Uncle Kurt, virtually disconcerted, without knowing what argument to pose against my crazy idea. And, even supposing that we could do it, for what would be useful the strategy at the sitters? Don't we agreed, already, that the best would be to follow that trace of Noyo VILLCA, comply with the request of BELICENA VILLCA? SHHHHH, I blew, putting the index finger on my mouth in signal of silence. Still, you will find all these answers, when you know the plan. What plan? Interrogated Uncle Kurt with fear. My plan. The plan that I have to end with the demons. But, I will not talk about it now, until the funeral not ends. Then, I will explain it to you and we will discuss it. Not convinced, Uncle Kurt moved his head with funny preoccupation. If we were not in so tragic circumstances, I would have laughed of the good mood of his gestures, with which he pretended to express that he was a serious person, who had fallen in hands of a madman.